Hi guys and gals, today I'm going to show you how to fix a piece of siding that's coming unclipped on the top of a wall. And it's a pretty simple solution, so I'm going to try to keep this really short for you. So you can see right here, this piece is totally unclipped. And the reason why is there's no tabs to hold this into this undersill here. So what we're going to do is we're going to clip it back in. And we're going to make sure it's clipped in all the way and all the way down. So you need to check your reveal in the middle of a piece to the bottom of the piece. And you can see we have 4 inches. And then now we're checking from the bottom of this piece that we just clipped in to the bottom of, to the middle of this piece. And you can see we have 3 3/4. So this piece is cut actually too tall by 1/4 inch. So we know at this point it needs to come down a little bit. I'll make a little mark there and just keep in mind that it's 1/4 inch too tall right there. And we're going to get this clipped in here. We're going to try to. I can already feel that the piece is cut too tall here, because I can see it bubbling up right there. We got 3 3/4, 3 3/4. Okay, so we need to take 1/4 inch from the highest point of this piece off the whole thing. So I'm gonna grab onto that joint there, pull it down, and we'll check our measurement in a few places here and try to pick a good average. We have 4 3/8, and that looks pretty tall. 4 1/4, 4 1/8, 4 1/4, and 4 1/4. So it looks like the tallest point is 4 3/8 down here, and that mark we made didn't really matter. So 4 3/8, and we know we need to take off at least 1/4 inch down here, and this doesn't have to be exact, and that gives us a good reference to where the bottom of the undersill was, the mark that we made. So we know the top of this piece isn't going to show. We're not cutting it too short. And we're, like I said, we're taking off 1/4 inch all the way down on average. And this is not an exact science, because you have a little bit of play inside that undersill. So you have about 1/4 inch of variance where you can get away with cutting it a little funky. And this works if you have undersill at the top of a wall. If they didn't use undersill, if they just had J-channel or something that they tucked it into, I would recommend getting some undersill. And I know that might not be too helpful for some of you. I apologize. But again, I'm trying to keep this short for somebody who already has this undersill right here, undersill trim. All right, so we're making sure it's fully clipped in, working it in all the way down, and use my hammer. And now I'm going to hold it up as tight as it'll go, and I'm tracing the bottom edge of that undersill. I'm holding it up as I go. once again. So I know that it's not hanging down, and it's not going to be hanging down when I put it back up. All right, so now we can see where the bottom of the undersill is in relation to the top of the piece. And I need about 3/8 of meat above that mark there. So this is a little bit too tall. I have about a 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim it down a little bit more. I'll take an 1/8 inch off the whole thing. So there we go. And what you need to do this now is a snap lock punch. And I'm going to put an affiliate link in this video for those. That'll link to Amazon so you know where to buy them. Or you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot, any place like that should have them. Your local lumber yard. And the reason why I was saying I need 3/8 is because there's a little bumper right there that'll only allow me to put this so far down on the piece. And I'm shooting to have this top edge of the hole, that rectangular hole, about a little less than an 1/8 inch above that line. So that's what it looks like. You don't want to go right down to the line with that tab because it doesn't look as good. I'm going to go ahead and do these down about 1 foot apart all the way down the piece. And that's a little high. So I'm going to pick a part of the piece where my cut is a little bit different so I can get that tab a little bit lower. That's looking pretty good. And if they fall out like that, sometimes they'll snap if it's a little colder out. What you can do is give it a little wiggle like that, and it'll more tear the siding instead of snapping it. And you want to avoid putting tabs in this end right here where it overlaps, because it'll start to interfere with the other piece. So we have all the tabs on it, and now all that's left is to clip it in. And you should hear those tabs engaging as you go. You hear a little click. And then you can verify by looking up there. You're making sure that there's no dark spots, no gaps between the siding and that undersill trim. It's looking good all across there. And again, just reaching over with my hammer. Gotta be careful with that so you don't dent the siding, but yeah, that's it. We got it repaired, and measuring here again, you can see we have our 4 inches now. 4 inches. That's at 3 7/8 still. But it's a lot better than it was, and that should hold up just fine. So so that's it, guys. We got that piece back in there, and we know it's not going to fall out. If you want to stick around, there's one more tip that I'll tell you about. And this goes outside of the manufacturer's directions, but it's a problem that I've noticed. It actually happens more than you'd think. And what that problem is when you have a mid-span piece. I have an end of a piece right here, and the end of the piece is right there. So that's in the middle of the wall. There's nothing holding this piece sideways. Now I'm going to explain to you what can happen, what I've seen quite a few times. Some of you guys might have a gap in between pieces of siding at the top of your wall, and you might see this piece oil canning. And what might be the reason why, it's not 100%, but sometimes what will happen is this mid-span piece will expand and contract with the changes of the temperatures, and it'll walk all the way that way or all the way this way, and it'll keep going until this part right here contacts this part right here. So it'll grow until these go tight, and then the other end will actually come apart from the other piece of siding. Now it's locked in here with these two notches, and it's locked in there at the end, but together, and it'll do that when it's the coldest out, and then when it tries to expand, it's got nowhere to go, so it's just going to bubble. So if you're seeing a gap at the top of your wall between the pieces of siding and you're seeing bubbling, that might be the issue. And I can't say to do this, but if that's happening, what you could do is replace that piece of siding and center it. Make sure you center that piece of siding with those notches. And put a trim nail through the siding, like right here, but in the middle of the piece. Right up close to that rib so you don't really see it. Put a trim nail and allow that siding to expand and contract from that center point, and now you know it's not going to walk one way or the other. So that's my little tidbit for you guys. And that's it. Catch you guys on the next one.